She didn't look away when she said it. Her voice was soft, but her eyes held something deeper, something dangerous. "Can you make me come tonight?" she whispered, like it was a challenge, like it was a secret only I was allowed to hear. And in that moment, I realized, this wasn't about what she asked for. It was about what she truly needed, and what I was about to discover about love, her, and myself. I had known her for years. She was my best friend's younger sister, off limits by every rule that mattered. But life doesn't follow rules when emotions get involved. That night, everything felt different. The air was heavier, the silence louder, and the distance between us, almost gone. We were sitting on the rooftop, the city lights flickering below us like quiet witnesses. She had always been playful, teasing, a little bold, but never like this. Never this vulnerable. "Why would you say something like that?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. She smiled faintly, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Because I'm tired of pretending," she said. "Tired of acting like I don't feel anything." I swallowed hard. "Feel what?" Her gaze locked onto mine. "You." That word hit harder than anything else. For years, I had buried whatever I felt. It was easier that way. Safer. She was my best friend's sister, after all. Crossing that line meant risking everything: friendship, trust, stability. But in that moment, sitting beside her under the open sky, it felt like the line had already been erased. "I don't think you mean that," I said quietly. She laughed, but it was fragile. "That's the problem. You never think I mean anything serious." She stood up, pacing slowly. "Everyone sees me as the carefree one. The girl who jokes, who flirts, who doesn't take life seriously. But you," she paused, looking back at me, "you're the only one I wanted to notice me for real." Her words broke something inside me. I did notice, I admitted. I just didn't let myself go there. "Why?" "Because I was scared," I said honestly. "Scared of ruining everything." She stepped closer, her voice softer now. "And what if not trying is what ruins everything?" Silence stretched between us again, but this time, it wasn't awkward. It was charged. Real. "Love always starts from understanding," I said slowly, meeting her eyes. "Not from proving something, or rushing into something we might regret." She searched my face, like she was trying to see if I truly meant it. "And if I don't want to rush?" she asked. "Then we don't," I replied. "We take it slow. We figure out what this is, together." For the first time that night, her smile was genuine. Hook. But what I didn't know was that choosing to understand her instead of giving in to the moment would lead me into something far more intense, far more complicated, and far more real than I ever imagined. The days that followed were different. We didn't talk about that night directly, but everything had changed. Every glance lasted longer. Every conversation carried weight. We started spending more time together: coffee runs, late-night walks, random conversations that stretched for hours. And somewhere along the way, I realized something terrifying. I wasn't just protecting her anymore. I was falling for her. The real challenge came when my best friend returned from his trip. He noticed the shift immediately. "You two seem close," he said one evening, his tone half joking, half suspicious. My heart pounded. "We've always been close," I replied, trying to sound normal. But he wasn't convinced. Later that night, she found me outside, leaning against my car. "You told him?" she asked. "No," I said. "But he knows something's different." She nodded, looking down. "I don't want to hurt him." "Neither do I. But I don't want to lose this either," she whispered. That was the moment everything became real. This wasn't just about feelings anymore. It was about choices, and consequences. "I think we should tell him," I said finally. Her eyes widened. Are you serious? If we're doing this, I said, stepping closer, then we do it right. No hiding. No sneaking around. She studied me carefully. You're willing to risk your friendship? I took a deep breath. For something real? Yeah. The next day was one of the hardest days of my life. When we told him, the silence that followed felt endless. He looked between us, hurt flashing across his face. I trusted you, he said to me. I know, I replied. And I'm not trying to break that. I care about her. He turned to his sister. And you? She didn't hesitate. I love him. That word changed everything. There was anger. There were arguments. Days passed without speaking. It felt like we had made the biggest mistake of our lives. But slowly, things shifted. One evening, he finally sat down with me. If you hurt her, he started. I won't, I said immediately. He sighed, rubbing his face. You better not. Because she's not just my sister, she's everything to me. She's everything to me too, I said quietly. That was the beginning of acceptance. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't easy. But it was real. Months later, we found ourselves back on that same rooftop. You remember what I said that night? She asked, smiling. I laughed softly. How could I forget? She leaned her head on my shoulder. I didn't mean it the way it sounded. I know, I said. I just wanted to feel something real, she admitted. I took her hand. And did you? She looked up at me, her eyes shining. More than I ever imagined. I smiled. Good. Because love isn't about moments, it's about everything that comes after. And as we sat there, under the same sky where everything began, I realized something simple but powerful. Real love doesn't start with desire. It starts with understanding, grows through patience, and survives because two people choose each other, again and again, no matter how hard it gets. Hook. Just when I thought we had survived the hardest part, life proved that love isn't tested when things fall apart, it's tested when everything finally starts to feel perfect. The rooftop had become our place. Not because it was special before, but because it became special after us. Nights felt softer there, like the world slowed down just enough for us to breathe, to exist without fear. Weeks turned into months, and for the first time in my life, everything felt steady. Too steady. You've been quiet, she said one evening, watching me more carefully than usual. I'm just thinking, I replied. That's never a good sign, she teased, nudging my shoulder. But her smile faded quickly. Talk to me. I hesitated, then exhaled slowly. I got an offer. Her expression changed instantly. An offer? Job. In another city. The silence that followed was heavier than anything we had faced before. For how long? She asked. At least a year. Maybe more. She nodded, looking away, pretending to process it calmly, but I could see it. The way her fingers tightened, the way her breathing shifted. That's good, right? She said, forcing a smile. You've been wanting something like this. Yeah, I said, but my voice lacked conviction. Because for the first time, what I wanted wasn't so clear anymore. That night, we didn't talk much. Not because we didn't have anything to say, but because we had too much. The next few days felt different. Not distant, not broken, just fragile. Like we were both holding something that could shatter if we spoke too loudly. Finally, she said it. You should go. I looked at her, searching her face. Is that what you want? She took a deep breath. It's what's best for you. And what about us? Her eyes softened, but there was strength in them too. If what we have is real, it won't disappear because of distance. I wanted to believe that. I really did. But love had already taught me something. It's not just about believing. It's about choosing. I don't want to lose you, I said quietly. You won't, she replied. Not if you don't let go. The day I left was harder than I expected. Harder than telling my best friend. Harder than admitting my feelings. Because this time, there was no conflict. No anger. Just distance. At the station, she stood in front of me, trying to be strong. No dramatic goodbyes, she said with a small smile. I laughed softly. You're the one who cries during movies. Only the sad ones. This is one of those, I said. She shook her head. No. This is one of those stories where they grow, and then come back stronger. I looked at her, memorizing every detail. You really believe that? I believe in us, she said. And somehow, that was enough. Months passed. Distance wasn't easy. Calls turned into missed calls. Messages sometimes came late. Time zones, work, exhaustion, it all piled up. There were moments I questioned everything. There were nights she sounded distant. Nights I felt like I was losing her, little by little. Until one night, she didn't pick up at all. One day turned into 2. Then 3. My thoughts spiraled. Had something happened? Had she changed her mind? Had distance done what fear couldn't? I couldn't take it anymore. So I went back. No warning. No call. Just a decision. When I reached her house, my heart was racing in a way it hadn't in months. I knocked once, twice. Then the door opened. And there she was. But something was different. Her eyes widened, and before she could say anything, I pulled her into a hug. I thought I lost you, I said, my voice breaking slightly. She held me tightly, but I could feel her shaking. You didn't, she whispered. Then why didn't you answer? She pulled back slowly, looking at me with emotions I couldn't immediately read. I needed to know something, she said. What? If you'd come back. I stared at her, confused. What do you mean? I needed to know if I was the kind of love you'd fight for, or just the kind you'd hold on to when it's easy. Her words hit deep. And now you know? I asked. She smiled, tears in her eyes. Yeah. I know. I cupped her face gently. You were never temporary to me. I know that now, she said softly. In that moment, everything made sense. Love wasn't just about staying when things were perfect. It was about returning when things felt uncertain. It was about choosing each other, even when distance, doubt, and fear tried to pull you apart. I'm not going back, I said suddenly. Her eyes widened. What? I don't need that job to build a future, I said. I just need something real to build it with. And you think that's me? She asked, almost teasing, but her voice trembled. I know it is, I replied. She laughed through her tears, pulling me closer. You're crazy. Maybe, I said. But I'm yours. And as she rested her head against my chest, I realized something that felt stronger than anything before. Love doesn't prove itself in words. It proves itself in choices. In distance crossed. In risks taken. In moments where leaving is easier, but you stay anyway. And this time, I wasn't just staying. I was home.